What's up, party people? It's your boy JFK. How far? How far? How far? We thank God for another day in the land of the living. You know what? It's this 2021. Has been another year where it's been grace. It's been grace and favor that's been keeping us, man. And as you guys saw my flyer, one of the things I wanted to get into today is just to remember that we've lost a lot of people. We've lost a lot of people this last year, and we're not just going to gloss over that. We're not just going to pretend like that didn't happen. And that's why I wanted to do this. BC's in the building. BC, yo, what, my man? What's good? Let me know how I'm looking, bro. Let me know how I'm sounding, man. What's going on? BC, this your googly eye emoji, man. You be using it for everything, though. You be using that emoji for everything, BC. I don't know. I don't know why you like that emoji. I don't know why you like the emoji so much. It's your boy JFK. If you're in the building, let me know you are here, man. It's another beautiful day, in a hard time. And today I just wanted to reminisce a little bit about the fact that it's been a year since this horrible thing called Corona came through and started disrupting our lives here in America, especially. And it's just a time to reflect. It's time to really reflect. Everybody knows about the milestone that America just crossed. Listen, man. You know how it is, man. Just trying to follow you young people. Just trying to follow the young people. We see, man, how we gonna do now. So we're here, man. BC, man. A lot of people passed away, and this is one of the things that really motivated me last year. This is one of the things. Felicia is in the building. I appreciate you. I really appreciate you. What's going on? Talk to me. How's everything on your end now? I'm up. Share this money, Felicia. Share this money. You're just chopping alone. This is well. It is well. I'm seeing you. You know what I mean? So we're here today. Celebrating the fact that we are alive. If God has spared you, as God has spared me, then you understand that it's only grace that has kept us. Because there's no rhyme, there's no reason, there's no formula. At the beginning of this thing, they will tell you, oh, certain people get it, certain people die of it. But the truth is, it's only God is going to keep those of us He's keeping. So I just wanted to remind. I don't think anyone needs reminded, but I'm going to just keep in mind everyone that has passed through. Everyone that has passed through this year. So many people are lost. We only use that word lost. We lost so many people. But they died. They died. And like I was saying somewhere this weekend, it's the grace of God that you're not in that number. When they count 500,000 people in America, where you live, where I live, and you're not in that number, then it's grace. Because the truth is, of that number, 500,000, I think one of the scariest things that I need to acknowledge is, of that number, there were those who were stronger than me. There were those with stronger immune systems. I really want us to understand that. The people who have been immunally strong, immune 500,000 people died in America alone. Don't tell me that all those people were weak, right? Don't tell me that all those people had compromised immunities. You can't tell me that. That's not logical, and it's not even true anyway, because there are many family members that are coming out to let us know that they lost a loved one who, for all intents and purposes, was a very healthy person, very active person, and the whole thing came as a surprise. As a matter of fact, there's some people who they just couldn't believe that they had this thing. That's why they didn't go out. If you're here, drop me a line. So we're here just reminiscing, thanking God for life, for preserving us, and also remembering those who passed away. It's not something that we should ever forget. We should never forget. 9/11 happened. We lost about 3,000 people. This with 500,000 Americans, bro. No. Think about that. And I want to. The reason I'm doing this show this way today is I want us to avoid the temptation of looking at these numbers and just going, it's another number. These are not just numbers. Every number you see here is a person. Every number you see here is a person. All right. So you're not about to just say 500,000 and move away. And I'll tell you who I'm upset with right now. I'm upset with anyone who still has the nerve right now to call Corona a hoax. The thunder, right? Because we've been through a whole year of this nonsense. And I'll put it at the doorstep of everyone who embraced conspiracy theories and behaved with the conspiracy theories. We were busy lying about this thing from the February that it came. We were busy lying. People were busy saying rubbish about this thing, looking for conspiracy theories instead of focusing on the fact that a disease has come. We need to come together, figure out a way to beat it. And even with the vaccine, like it was always stupid to me. Like you're talking about a vaccine that you're working on, as if whoever dies before the vaccine comes out, that then those people, there's nothing to do for them. They deserve to die. That's so untrue. Look at what we're realizing. Oh, vaccine is out, quite all right. Vaccine is going out, and we are hoping that it does the job. But you've lost 500,000 people, and there's no universe in which you can tell me that there was nothing we could do. No universe. America is not the only country that had corona, right? And just ignorance, and it still exists. It still exists. My guest is on her way. One of the reasons I wanted to bring in this person is, I'll tell you more when she's available. I mean, they call her Dr. Banks. I'll tell you more because when whole thing started, she's one of those people I was following her page, and was a doctor on the front lines, and she was always posting new information, telling people to be safe. And I saw someone like her working day and night on this, and I saw other people. I don't like calling names, but when your behavior checks in with what I'm about to say, then check yourself if the shoe fits. A lot of ignoramuses, a lot of orangutans masquerading as human beings. Dami, what's up, man? Yeah, man, we pray for inspiration and solution. Dami is in the building. My man, well, thank you, brother. Like, that's what I'm saying. But you see, but people, this ignorance has caused more of the deaths. Ignorance has allowed corona to fester more than it should. Ignorance has done more. Ignorance has done more damage. Ignorance has made this thing worse than it should be. And we're out here, man, everybody's trying to play games. This thing from day one was something that we should all come together and fight. But no, till today, I keep wondering, what would have happened if America had leaders, if America had a president who took this thing seriously from day one? If we had a president who was honest with the people, if we had a leader, if we had leaders who had the platform and they could tell the people, this is serious, this is what the scientists are saying, let's go this route, let's wear masks, instead we had somebody who was actually antagonizing the science. We had someone who was opposing the science. I'm gonna keep telling you, 500,000 individuals. And I challenge you, if you are listening to this, if you are watching, if you're anywhere, if you are one of those who are trying to tell us that the number is exaggerated, like I challenged you when it was only 10,000. I challenged people when it was 100,000. I challenged you when it was 250. I said, if you think that the number is inflated, if you think it's exaggerated, this is my challenge to you. Otherwise, you shut your up. Shut your up. This is my challenge to you. BC, that's right. We're over 500,000. It's just that 500,000 is a number that's a round figure that we can talk about and hold on and realize that we messed up. We messed up. America, we messed up. The world messed up, but America, we messed up. We had messed up earlier by electing the dumbest, most incompetent ignoramus to the White House. That was already a problem. It was as if I knew that something like this would happen when I was saying, forget about all the other things I never liked about Lysol. Incompetence. Incompetence was a major reason why Hillary Clinton should have won instead of Donald Trump. Do you see what I'm trying to say? I'm not talking about all the other factors that, she's evil, he's evil. No, on the issue of competence, on the question of who can do work, who can do the job, on the issue of who can put one before two and three and step, on the issue of who can be more efficient in a crisis, America totally messed up. Those who voted for Donald Trump and those who allowed Donald Trump to be voted for by not voting, you completely messed up. This 500,000 number of Americans dead is directly correlating. It is correlated to leadership. It is correlated to leadership because we are not the only ones this happened to. America is not the only country that had corona. So stop that nonsense. And I want us to reflect on that. Every one of those lives. I mean, the number is so big that you start tuning out. That's the danger of this thing, right? If the number gets so big that we're tuned out, it's too big to think about, so you just put it up there as one of those big numbers. But I want you to focus on the fact that each of those numbers, 500,000, each one has a name. If you're here, drop me a line. And we're talking about the 500,000 plus America has lost, and how do we, first of all, remember them, and how do we make sure that in the future we guard against anything like this happening again? Because let's be honest about this. This is not the last pandemic that is coming. I don't know about you, but I've read enough and I've seen enough information to know that this is not the final pandemic. This is not the last disaster coming to us as a people, as a race, as a nation. And if we are not careful, if we continue to go in this path of fake information, if we continue to go in the path of propaganda, the path of just distortion, like Nigeria upsets me right now. Nigeria upsets me because the dominance of ignorance, the dominance of misinformation, the dominance of just conspiracy theories makes it difficult to solve any problem. You can't solve any problem. When celebrities go on air in Nigeria to say they have corona, or they are coming out of corona, or they are surviving corona, and people will be yabbing their father. If you're here, drop me a line. Somebody is telling you what they experienced, that they have corona, and you have the nerve to go on their page and say they are a liar, they have paid you money. Stop calling evil on our nation. Like that disconnect right there, there's no solution for it, sir. There's no hope. There's no hope. There's no hope. As a Christian, it's a tough thing for me to say. But what I'm grateful for is that God will help us, even when we have no more hope. I'm grateful. God is a complete God. Amen, somebody. Y'all gonna make me preach. I said, God is the kind of God that will bless you after you have decided that you can no longer be blessed. Hey, can I get a See, God will bless you at a time that you have already signed the paperwork saying that blessings are no longer possible for you, right? Because God does not operate under the limitations of your ability to believe. How can I get somebody to move? Now, here's a caveat. The Bible says in one part, somebody follow me. Deacon, are you listening? The Bible says in one part that Jesus, the Bible said he could not do much miracles. Hallelujah. He could not do much miracles because of their unbelief. Understand, he did some miracles. He did some miracles. He could not do much, but he did some. Glory to God. So it is the thing that keeps me going about a place like Nigeria. Because I can personally fight within myself to say, I am looking for hope. Hallelujah. I am looking for hope within myself so that I can put that hope out, right? But it's getting more difficult because let me channel my brother Damlola here. Say, distorted information about the virus caused a huge loss of life globally. Now, for the future, Damlola, I'm going to put your comment up here right away. He said, for the future, unified information will grant us victory over pandemic. My brother, you're exactly right. Question is, I don't think unified information is possible anymore, right? Because the misinformation has become an industry. There are some people that have tied their entire livelihood to misinformation. There are people whose platform is misinformation. And that's one of the dangers of the era we just went through, especially in America, where we have a president who has gone out to tell us that experts don't know anything. So no longer, so we don't trust doctors anymore. We don't trust, scientists, And the question is, when they say that, ask them, who should we then trust? You who are just typing rubbish from your house with no expert input, with no degree, with no knowledge, no basis of understanding. We should listen to you, Mr. 5G Tower. We should listen to you. I mean, the sheer ignorance. Let me see. If you're here, drop me a line. It's your boy Jeff. We're talking about the 500,000 people we've lost to this pandemic. We have to remember them. We have to think of them as individuals and not just put the number up there and just forget it, because those are people. Those are members of people's families. Right? Those are members of people's families. If you're here, drop me a line. We remember the 500,000, over 500,000. We could basically say, so let me say, this is a good point. There need to be consequences for the misinformation experts. We need to stop hiding behind the First Amendment for our ignorance. Amen. Amen. The freedom of expression guaranteed by the Constitution is not designed to make you free from information. It's not designed to make you free from wisdom. It's not supposed to be freedom from wisdom. It's not supposed to be freedom from truth. Freedom to express should not automatically mean that we embrace you when you express nonsense from your derriere. When you express rubbish from your nether regions, we should be able to swipe you aside. And because the effect and the consequences, like BC said, if there are consequences, if there are results, if there's an effect, if there's an impact, now we're talking. If there's an impact, now we're talking. So the issue is this: if people get in trouble for their lives, now that's a different conversation. BC, I know they have lawsuits now coming. That's one thing I'm grateful for in America, man. When you lie against a corporation, when you lie against somebody, they can put you on blast. And when they sue you to court, you'll be forced to come and explain your lie. do you guys hear that Rudy Giuliani was running from the people that were trying to serve him papers? Yo, Rudy Giuliani was running away from people trying to serve him papers. He doesn't want to go to court. Can you imagine? Lying blatantly everywhere. Now it's time to come and prove his lies in court. He's dodging the process servers. These are the people you are following. All these people that are just, it's too dumb. It's too dumb. So now that it's time to come and prove your point in court, because don't forget. Let me just, many of you probably know this. One of the defenses to libel, one of the defenses that someone like Rudy Giuliani or Fox News or all the people sued by Dominion, one of the defenses you have in court is to assert truth, right? So, for instance, if I tell you that Alex, man, they're going to sue him. As a matter of fact, there's a civil rights suit against Trump already. From I forget from that. They use the ACLA. Yeah. The civil rights group is suing him already. I think NAACP, if I'm not mistaken, they're suing him too. So this is the thing about it. This is how you know when somebody, if they were telling the truth about voter fraud, then them being sued to court for libel is an opportunity for you to go and prove that what you're saying is true, and therefore you should not be held liable for libel or defamation. You know what I'm saying? But instead of that, they are running away from the process servers. Now you're right. Normally, this kind of society where everybody's suing everybody, you don't like it. But in this particular time, that's what we need. That's what we need, because the lies are so much. The lies are so much that if people don't start bleeding money for lying. Let me tell you. Do you know what happened? Did you guys see that video on Newsmax where that anchor left, the stage, talking to the My Pillow guy, and he stormed out of the room? The news reporter stormed out of the room because the My Pillow guy was lying again about the election. Do you know that this is the same Newsmax that was promoting that election lie for forever? But after they have been named in a suit, right? They were named in a suit by Dominion. All of a sudden, they borrowed sense. Yo, Newsmax borrowed sense. When the lawsuit came, they borrowed. Now, not only did Newsmax begin to stop spreading the lie of Dominion voting machines, they walked off. They walked off the stage when the My Pillow guy was talking about it. The anchor got up. He said, "Can we shut him down? Can we shut him up?" When they didn't shut the guy up in time, the anchor got up and left the room. Like, you will not cobalize me. That's what he was saying. Like, if they sue this network for promoting election lies, I will not be there. Never seen, I want to define it to you. I've never seen anything like this before. The news anchor got up. He said, it was like saying, "You are lying again, no? Hey, you are lying. You have started lying. Will you stop? Engineer, can we cut his microphone? Engineer, can we cut it? You won't cut his microphone." And he will lie. "I'm going." That's how that guy stood up. That's how that on Newsmax for that matter. Let me get some of your comments in. Yeah, Damlola said World Health Organization should take some responsibility for late direction of what nations calls part of it. You're exactly right. There was late information, there was some confusion. But Damlola, here's the part that this is where I don't really fault. Hey, Baba is in the building, Pastor Dada is in the building. Pastor, we are talking about remembering all those people that passed away. So we never forget that every individual who died in that 500,000 number is an individual. Alex, you saw the video, right? The Newsmax guy got up. He got up because he was afraid that they're going to sue us again. Because Mr. My Pillow is lying again. Mr. My Pillow is lying again. Bro, there's no way. I can't do this thing. I must play this thing. Let me show you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me play this for you because you will see what I'm saying. You see, when you sue people for their lies, they receive sense. This is the same Newsmax that was so like, the election was stolen. There's a fraud. Can you believe it? There was fraud. We saw ballot boxes in the ocean. We saw ballot papers in the sea. They were lying their heads off. They said the Dominion voting machines are filled with thugs and criminals inside the machine. And the machine, every time you vote for Trump, the criminal inside the machine will take your paper and turn it around and write Biden. Yo, they were having such a good time lying about the Dominion voting machine until Dominion said, yeah, Dominion said 1.3 billion is what you are going to pay, my guy. All of a sudden, I'm definitely going to get. Let me play this video. This is not even the one I wanted to play, that but I'll play. So he said, oh boy, when they started suing them for billions, all of a sudden they received sense. They received sense. It is when that anchor walked off the set, they said that I realized that the fear of lawsuits in this country is a different matter entirely. It's one of their major points. Okay, I'm going to play the video for you guys. This is amazing. This is what we need to do. They need to sue, like you said, like Alex said, even Trump himself must be sued. He must be sued. There's an NAACP suit right now that's naming Donald Trump. But trust me, there are a few more suits coming for Donald Trump. But it's amazing. These people, with the audacity with which they lie until they are called out in a court of law. When they realize they're about to lose money, and Newsmax is a fresh, young, lying channel. Yeah, Tammy, we're going to talk about WHO. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're here, drop me a line. Welcome. It's your boy JFK Live. I'm waiting on my guest. As soon as she's available, we're gonna bring her on. We're talking about just getting rid of the lies and the myths, and the misinformation that like Brother Damlola said. A lot of the deaths we're experiencing, a big part of those deaths is connected to the ignorance, the misinformation, the misdirection, and a lot of people should be held liable. People should not be allowed to lie like that. So let me do this. I'm gonna play this guy. This guy's now.
Can I ask our producers? Can we get out of here, please? I don't want to have to keep going over this.
Actually,
we at Newsmax have not been able to verify any of those allegations that you're.
Mike, hold on a second. Everybody, hold on a second. Mike, hold on 1 second. Let's talk a little bit about just what is happening overall.
When your lies chases a TV anchor from his chair, you have graduated. When your lies chases a TV anchor from his chair, you have graduated. The guy said, I don't want to do this anymore. He said, this lying. I don't want to do it anymore. Let me play it again. Because it's like, let me, if you see his face, if you see the frustration, you will know.
Producers, can we?
You see the frustration on his face. because he has been sued. When you are sued, man, it's a different ball game. When you have been sued, it's a different ball game, man. You don't play games. Let me find a longer clip. I want to find a longer clip because you can. Let me do this. All right, there we go.
Con Ed customers, if you have a power,
I'm gonna play this one. Like, if you're here, drop me a line. So we're talking about how we can avoid this kind of thing in future, right? Because this is not the last pandemic. Make no mistake. This is not the last pandemic. This is not the last pandemic. We need to be able to understand that there are other things coming to us in this world. How do we make sure that we don't allow lies and conspiracy theories to lead us again into the same scenario? Because things are coming and we need to be careful. All right, I'm gonna play it. Let's do this again now. The uncle walked off. He says that you will not use my head to break coconuts. This guy said, you know what? Let me do this. All right, here we go. Here we go. This is Mike the pillow guy lying.
What happened with your Twitter account and the company page?
Well, first mine was taken down because we have all the election fraud with these Dominion machines. We have 100% proof. And then when they took it down about 3 weeks ago, and then when I put it back up, my personal, it was a
Mike, thank you very much. Mike, you're talking about machines that we at Newsmax have not been able to verify any of those kinds of allegations. We just want to let people know that there's nothing substantive that we've seen. And let me read you something there. While there were some clear evidence of some cases of vote fraud and election irregularities, the election results in every state were certified, and Newsmax accepts the results as legal and final. The courts have also supported that. So we wanted to talk to you about canceling culture, if you will. We don't want to relitigate the allegations that you're making, Mike, because we understand where you are. So let me ask you this. Do you think that this should be temporary? Because it appears to be permanent. Could you make an argument that it is temporary?
What?
Could you make an argument that this could be a temporary banning rather than permanent?
No, I want it to be a permanent because you know what? They did this because I'm revealing all the evidence on Friday of all the election fraud with these machines. So I'm sorry if you think it's not
Mike,
real.
can I ask our producers, can we get out of here, please? I don't want to have to keep going over this.
Get out of here.
I've not been able to verify any of those allegations that you're
Mike, hold on a second. Everybody hold on a second. Mike, hold on 1 second. Let's talk a little bit about just what is happening overall.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, let me say something about that. The guy said, can we get out of here?
We are looking at every
Oh my goodness. The guy said, oh, can we get out of here? That's how you know that somebody's nervous. The guy is nervous. He said, can we get out of here, yo? Let me tell you something. At a certain point, we have to return to sanity. We have to you see, the guy said, Mike. It's like if it was a Yoruba guy, he would have said, Mikey, yo, Mikey, Oto, yo. But let me tell you something, man. We are at the point now where we just need to start getting real information. And I've always said that there's no point, allowing these people to get away with these lies. We need to get to a point where we can destroy lies at their inception. Now, I want to get on something that Damilola brought up, and BC is also attending. If you are here, please drop me in line. Like Damilola was saying this, like if you have your doubts about WHO, I want you to understand something. An organization like WHO doesn't have to be perfect to be effective, right? They don't have to be perfect to be effective. There are political considerations in WHO, quite all right, my Alex, I don't have time today, but my pillow guy released a video. He released a movie type video. Now the funny thing is that upon all what you saw on Newsmax right now, where the guy walked away, Newsmax still aired my pillow guy's video. He did a video about election fraud. If you go and watch that video, you will laugh. It is a comedy. This guy had people on to just come and give conjecture, like, I believe there was fraud. No proof. They're like, I believe it was rigged. I believe, and if we allow this rigging, there'll be more rigging. And if rigging leads to rigging, who will stop the rigging? As I'm talking to you right now, somebody is rigging my house. Like they were just talking rigging, but no proof, no evidence. And that's why the courts threw them out. So the issue is this, like, WHO, like I was saying, my brother's point, WHO, like every other organization in this world, let's be honest about this. When this pandemic hit and the way it came about and the nature of it, it was a mystery in many ways. So knowing how to deal with it was not something that was quickly available. It took a while before people started understanding what it was, how it operated, how it spread, where it already was, where it wasn't. So the WHO was part of the group of experts who were trying to figure it out. And that's not a crime. That's not a crime. When something new comes on the scene, you have to figure it out. And it took them a while to figure it out. The issue is that a lot of people wanted to blame doctors, like they want to blame Fauci, right? They're like, oh, Fauci said we should use masks. Then they said we shouldn't use masks. They're like, are you dumb? You don't know how science works? When there's a problem, you have hypotheses, you have attempts, you have trials. You try something out. And then when you learn more information, you apply the newly acquired knowledge to solve the problem. And that's why, when people try to make it look like, oh, the doctors are confused. If the doctors are confused, your father and your mother are more confused than the doctors, because seniors are dying. All right? If anybody had the answers, then where is all the death coming from? So I'm saying this because, the 500,000 mark that we hit is not a joke. It's not a joke at all. Yes, for sisters in the building. Please take your time, relax. Yeah. I know you're just getting home. I'm gonna bring you in soon. So let me get the word out. Let everyone know my guests around. So later, please help me share this right now. Let everybody know. Please share it on your page. I have my sister here. She's gonna come in a few minutes. We're just gonna talk about the pandemic, when it started. How, like, people in the medical community, those who were in the front lines, how they were handling it, how they were dealing with it. And that's why my premise when I started talking today is to kind of indicate, like, you should listen to people who have better information, and the fundamental ability to decide, who knows better, comes from the ability to just learn, just look at what's going on. If I want, I said this before in one of my shows, like, I'm an attorney, but I have my specialty. If you call me for something related to the law that is not within my practice, I call on other people who practice in that area. I don't assume that because I'm a lawyer, he's a lawyer. Nah. So when it comes to this things like this coronavirus, man, it was important for us to always pay attention to those who were dealing with it on a daily basis, those who had information, those who had knowledge, those who were going through it. So it's one of those things where we have to learn to get our sources of information and get them right, and also understand no one is perfect, right? All our doctors, all our scientists, all our experts, they're working through a problem, and while they're working through it, they let us know what they know at each point. And when they have better information, they tell us, then we can update what we know. We can do better. We can change, how we're dealing with it. So it just amazes me that people want to go around and say, okay, they're not listening to doctors, they're not listening to experts, but they know some dude who wrote something on some blog. And it was so annoying to me. And I really think a lot of the losses we suffered, come from us not really paying attention to our sources of information. And that's why it was so annoying to just watch people say all kinds of stuff. And, you ask them where they get it from, and they say, oh, Facebook. And it's like, is Facebook a doctor? Like, this is so dumb. This is so dumb. Like, Facebook is not a doctor. Why y'all listen to Facebook? So I want to say this to you, man. We've lost these many people. It's not something that we should forget. It's not something we should forget, and I don't know how else to tell you this, but you need to begin to agree together that next time, because this is the thing I'm trying to get you to see, there will be more. There will be others. There will be other pandemics. There will be other matters. There will be other issues. There will be more things that are happening, and we need to get ourselves straight. We need to get ready to be able to answer questions. We need to get ready to be able to answer questions. And if we are going to allow people to do conspiracy theories again, and because 6G will come out, 6G is coming. Please, I don't want somebody to now tell us next year that because of 6G, whatever comes next year, they're going to tie it to the next 6G, to the towers. And then we're going to spend, months running around trying to cut down 5G towers for a virus that has no business with 5G. All right. So, it's amazing what people are doing out here. But let me just get to it right away. My sister's in the building. I'm going to bring her on. And this is going to be Dr. Banks in the building. What's going on, sis?
Hi, how are you? Sorry.
Oh no, no. You have nothing to apologize for. I wanted you to really settle down because you're letting me know that you're on your way coming from work. And I can't even imagine. First of all, how was your day? How were you able to get through?
It was good. It was a good day.
See, when you say it was a good day, that's like you're a professional. Like if I dealt with half of the things you have to deal with, I'm out. I'm taking a 3-hour lunch break. And I'm running out. So but I want to just say thank you for coming on.
No
And
problem.
yeah, so one of the reasons I wanted you to come on because you're one of those people that I followed at the beginning of this process. When the pandemic hit last year,
Uh-huh.
I was following your page and I was following your posts, and I was really grateful because you were putting out information, pictures of what was really happening, on the front lines. And it was such a clear distinction from people who are just in their basements, just typing stuff out, you know? And I mean, I was even in that category, but I was always making sure to ask people who knew better. But it was so easy for some of us to be be at home on our couch talking about, yo, this is what you should do. This is what's going on. And then I'm watching your picture. You're in full like hazmat suits. You got goggles on. You got this on. You're in the ER. Just first of all, let me introduce you properly. This is my guest. This is Doctor. This is Adebanke Adebayo.
Yes, that is.
Yes, I call her Dr. Banks. The little research I did online. I know you're at Brookdale Hospital.
I'm actually not at Brookdale.
I was gonna find you that there was a blog that with you on Brookdale, but I didn't want to assume it.
Yeah.
Because I know sometimes you guys move around, you do work here and there, so, but I'm gonna let you tell us, so tell us who you are and what you do.
So as you already said, my name is Dr. Adebank. Well, my name is Adebanke Adebayo. My title is doctor.
Yes. Yes.
I grew up in Brooklyn. Currently working at a couple of ERs right now.
Oh wow.
So moving from place to place. Well, working between place to place. Both places are very different, but in all, emergency departments are very similar. So what's going on in the pandemic now or whatever is usually like the raging question that everyone wants to ask.
Right.
Sorry I didn't get to prepare my lighting before I got home.
You are fine. I'm just glad you're here, man. I can't imagine that coming from work and doing anything. So I'm just well, we're hearing you fine. So I want, before we go into what's happening now, I wanted to go back to how did you cope with it last year when it all first started? How was that experience? How did it hit you? What was going on?
So funny enough, I worked as a nurse during H1N1.
Wow.
A little bit of preparation for it, but the magnitude of COVID is nothing in comparison to what happened. So it's just like, very like proactive, like, oh, I'll go see that patient, just wear your mask, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I'll go see that patient, blah. And then we separated. I had a really good chairperson, and she was like, and my program director, who's disasters trained, and they had a lot of foresight. So we separated our ED into COVID, non-COVID.
Wow.
Because obviously, at the end of the day, COVID is not the only diagnosis.
Yes.
And there's this like myth that, you only go to the hospital if it's COVID, and that's not the case. So I see a lot of non-COVID cases. COVID was majority, but sometimes it's coupled with COVID and heart attacks or strokes with COVID. So coping, back to your question, it was a very difficult time. I remember like we'd have rallies, like not rallies, but we'd gather everybody in the ambulance bay and be like, I know you're going through this. We're here for you. It was fun. Like you got really, really close to your coworkers. Fun in the respect that you got intimately close with your coworkers because you spent more time with them than anyone else. Like you normally spend a lot of time with your family members, but I spent a lot of times with my coworkers. So we got to know each other, like, know each other. And so, like, oh, this person's not having a good day. Let me help them with this. Let me help them with that. The city offered free mental health counseling during towards the, I want to say like, not really the peak. Right. I guess it was declining at the time. They offered mental health counseling. I was just like, nah. But then I told most of the residents in my program, I was like, just do it, and a lot of them said it helped. for me, it helped me drastically. I actually still speak to my mental health counselor
Wow.
about it.
Wow.
Super important. It's just like sometimes there's certain things that you can't tell your family without a judgment or them offering an opinion about something that they don't actually do. So it's just
Well, now, I'm going to interrupt you right there because I can't help myself. Does that have anything to do with the fact that you have Nigerians in your your community of relatives?
I mean, my family's been super supportive. Like for the most
Okay.
part, they call and tell me they're just praying for me.
Okay.
It was like a very different experience for me. People
Wow.
will call and say, "Hey, I just put money for you to go buy lunch." I mean,
Wow.
I was on the COVID diet, so I lost the weight
So
COVID
what is that? Tell me what that is.
because
COVID
you're
diet.
so afraid to eat at work.
That's true.
So you don't really eat. I ate in the morning, and I ate when I came home. Like,
Nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Y'all could keep that. What?
The donations that we appreciate so dearly to our heart came.
Wow.
Don't worry, everything came back and more.
Wow. I mean, like I said, one of the things that really moved me was like watching you. You had pictures where you were, just trying to have fun, try to make people smile, even under the mask. I was really taken by that. Like I saw you actively trying to make others feel better,
Yes, it's one of those things that you just like. It's one of those things no one ever can say, the last true pandemic, right? Spanish flu. I don't know.
Yeah, 1918 or something like that.
Yeah, like no one. I don't know anyone that lived through that.
No.
Through H1N1, and it wasn't as serious.
Yeah.
So it was important for me. Music is always important for me, and dancing and just laughing at work, no matter what's going on, to make sure, because you saw so much death. That it's almost like a sin to see that much death if you're not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what blew my mind, because while you were dealing with that and seeing that, in real time, you had a whole world out there where there were debates going on about whether or not it was real. And I guess that what attracted me to like checking on your page was like I just saw that this is somebody working on this. And you have people out there saying like, oh, they're faking the numbers and all that. And like, as a doctor, I just felt like, you know what? I was even offended. Like, you're doing the work. You should not be hearing people making stuff up like that.
Yeah, it's one of the, so when it comes to that aspect of COVID, for me, sometimes I had to, there was a point in time where I stopped posting as much because I had to unplug from social media, because I found myself in debates with people arguing. And me, if you know who I am, I'm very passionate about what I'm doing. So I'm arguing with them. So how do you know this? What's your background? What are you looking at? And my stress level was through the roof. So, you can't behave like that all the time.
No, it's not good. It's not healthy, I guess.
But I did wanted to, show people that it's not just the media. Like some things, obviously the media is like for people to attract people. Like I always say, like gossip is the spice of life. But at the same time, a lot of the things that they were showing are real. They're happening all the time. And it was one day I went to work and I came to work. It's like our program, we have like a resident in charge. You come into work, like the person that was in spot 9, 10, 11, and 12, like they passed away 30 minutes after each other. Wow. And I was just like, I had lost it. I was just like, I'm done with this. I'm like so done with this. And I was like, if we stay in this mindset, for me, if we stayed in the mindset of like being sad all the time, we would have all fallen into a deep depression. And I think we need it in the middle of a pandemic where you need healthcare workers, is for everyone to be depressed.
Yes. I mean that's why, like I said, even pictures of you, I don't know which one in particular. You had one where you were dancing or something, but you were in scrubs, and it just felt like just the idea that you're dealing with this, but you're also spreading joy. And I find that
backlash for that.
Yeah. No, listen, man. Explain that to me.
Well, because they're like, oh, it's a serious thing going on, but I'm like, at the end of the day, everyone grieves very differently.
Yeah, no, I'm upset they tried to challenge you on it, because I needed that. I wasn't even in your circle, and that made me feel good, like, because I felt like you have two options, right? Like you said, you can go all the way into the depression, into the sadness of it,
right?
And then you're no use to anyone, Or you could just, you know what, we're here. For as long as we're still standing, we're going to be giving life to those who are alive and trying our best for those who are passing away. You know, I really love that spirit. I want to get you out of here in time.
No, it's fine.
Fast forward to where we are now.
Mm.
We're in a situation. First of all, what's your from your perch? What's your assessment of where we are in terms of COVID? Is it going
I have
down?
different perspectives when it comes to COVID. In all honesty, from a medical standpoint, I think we're very far from figuring this whole thing out. We're still experimenting with drugs. You have vaccinations, right? So you get vaccinated. It gives you antibodies, so your body remembers, the disease. But at the same time, you won't get it to the severity of where it was in the spring, but you still can pass it on. So that's the problem, right?
Wow.
You still have medications. There's no cure for it, like most viruses, because viruses mutate.
Okay, I have to stop you right there because one of my uncle's cousin's friends on Facebook
I know
said that there's a cure if you mix ginger with breadfruit and you soak it inside bitter leaf stew. Are you telling me that's not a cure?
Yeah, I don't think so. I personally don't like bitter leaf stew. Don't hate me. I don't.
No, listen, you're not alone. That's why they call it bitter leaf now.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of like remedies. I agree, no, to an extent. I agree. Once it started coming, I have like a sorority sister that I'm very close with. Her mom, like, it was just like, no, we're gonna up on the vitamins. You want to build your immune system so that if something comes your way, it can fight it. Didn't say that it's gonna cure it. It's gonna help you
fight.
You're preparing for war.
Yeah.
Come to war with your just regular clothes. Your battle suit, you have your bulletproof vest.
Your armor, basically.
Your armor. And so, I always told everyone, like my patients were like, what can you give me? And I'd tell them, I'm not giving you hydrochloroquine. Like I'm gonna tell you, like I did, and I told them what I did,
Yeah.
I did moringa, I did made sure my vitamin D levels were where they're supposed to be.
That's good.
Vitamin C levels, made sure vitamin C, zinc.
Yeah.
I did CMOS. I'm a big CMOS fan.
What's CMOS?
It's actually like a algae that grows. They usually soak it. It has like more than 99 minerals. It's like one of the most potent vitamins that you can do. You can just add it into smoothies. Has no taste. Did that. If they make it into like a gelatinous form.
Right. Oh, that's good.
I did that. I mean, I tried to eat more healthy. I started bike riding because obviously I'm caged in all day. So
yes.
Get out.
I was thinking about that because I would feel like, your hours must have been crazy.
Yeah.
Because I felt like you were in scrubs every picture I saw.
Yeah. So, which is a gift and a curse, right? So when you gain weight, you can't tell because you're only all the time.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But so for the most part, like I didn't want to wear any of my regular clothes. I didn't know what I was bringing home. I didn't want to contaminate anyone. So it's always like scrubs. You put on your scrubs, like you get undressed at the door, you run upstairs to the shower, take a shower, and then you.
Oh my goodness! I mean, just the work you have to do to get into your house.
Yeah, like I would tell them, no one could come in my car until I got my car cleaned. Like those kind of.
Oh
things.
My goodness!
It's life, like it's just one of those. I don't complain. I'm very thankful. Like with the pandemic, it actually opened a lot of doors for me. It's a very sad thing. A lot of people, I know a lot of people who lost a lot of close friends, family members. It's a very saddening thing, but it's also a humble thing because my favorite aspect of this whole COVID thing was humanity reign.
People stepping up for other people.
Yeah, people I didn't know would call. People I hadn't spoken to in junior high, kindergarten, like they would call or ask, what do you need? You'd see strangers like, can I help you? And I felt like for a while as a society, as a human race, we had lost sight of what it meant to be. You go to church and you're supposed to be like lovely to people. You mosque and be, fellow brothers, but there's still a judgment thing here. Here it was like did not discriminate against anyone. And so you really needed to pay attention because you never know when it was going to be the person next to you's last days. Like, you seeing people check on their neighbors, like older people
Yeah,
check on
yeah,
neighbors and those kind of things, like the food pantries, which, you know, were very different, but
yeah,
it's one of those things that made me appreciate, like I have a better perspective on life,
yeah,
secondary to
yeah.
thing that I've sustained or was
That,
able to.
that's so powerful because I felt like seeing that through all of the death and chaos, but noticing the goodness of people also was so important because that's the anchor of our humanity. Like if we lose that, we have no hope of fighting anything. So
Right.
I love that you brought up. Let me fast forward to this. So we have all these people who are skeptical about the vaccine.
Uh-huh.
What would you say to them about taking the vaccine, not taking it? Because there's just as a community, obviously, we have so many reasons why, I mean, the conspiracy. I started this entire YouTube live because of so many conspiracy theories. I was so upset. Like, I respect a good conspiracy theory. Like, if you construct it well, you do the research, it sounds good.
Mhm.
It's a movie script. I respect the work that goes into that. What I was upset with was you have all these things so flimsy, but they were catching on like wildfire. Now we have the vaccine coming out. They have all these reasons why you shouldn't take it. And I know there's scientific reasons and concerns that are legitimate, but everything I'm hearing is just conjecture. And in the meantime, like you said, this thing is still ravaging. It's still taking lives.
So when people ask me personally, like when my personal friends call me and ask me about vaccination, I usually tell them I can't give you that advice, and I'll
Yeah,
be honest
right,
about it.
right,
Um, in all honesty, no one tells you their medical problems. I mean,
right, right,
sometimes
right. That's true.
no one. I don't know what medical problems you have, so I can't
That's
tell
true.
you one way or the other
Yeah,
what you
yeah.
should do and what you shouldn't do. So
Right,
that's something like that's why it's important to have a primary care doctor for them to
right.
with you
That
those
makes sense.
things. In terms of the conspiracy theories and I mean it comes from a standpoint and I can't blame people for it. I mean I
Right,
look at it from both standpoints.
right.
The history of the United States of America has
Yes.
why you think about as far back as I can't remember the slave's name or there was a lady that they used for like OGYN procedures. It was
Yes, I remember that. It was sterilization or something like
right.
that.
They did every procedure on her without any analgesic.
Right,
Then you go as far back as like most people remember the Tuskegee experiment.
right, right,
So
right,
you
right.
can't like
Well, I mean, and that's why I said
negate what's
that's why I
going
said
on.
they're
So what
legitimate. There's some legitimate historical, like yeah. I'm not going to argue with that.
history is not
But
shed to light until
yeah,
afterwards.
that's
So that's
true.
what people's apprehensions. Like when I speak to my patients and I ask them about it, and that's what
Yeah,
they usually say. You
I,
know,
I, I hear that.
there was a
Yeah.
thing on the news today about infertility. You know,
Oh,
and I mean they're studying patients who ended up pregnant during COVID, and
right,
they'll study them. I think they've studied initially they studied them for 2 months, then 4 months, and they'll study them for 2 years. So you would,
right,
and a lot of people, their apprehension is, I'll wait till more data comes back.
right. I'm gonna let those guys get it first.
Right.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
the president of Jamaica said that same thing, right?
yeah, I mean, I think it's reasonable. But the only pushback I have for people is, in the meantime, what do we do, right? Because we can't continue like this, lockdown. Because even the like European countries who kind of had a handle on it, they're back in lockdown because of the new strains. And I'm just upset with the concept of new strains just deciding, just like a horror movie. Now, how many mutations are we gonna have?
It's a virus, so you get a flu shot every year. It's a different mutation. They
Well,
give
I
you
mean,
they give you
yeah,
a flu shot based off of the mutation from the previous year. But
ah.
you get it, a new strain has already come up.
This
So
is so when are we gonna get out of it? This is ridiculous. We're gonna be in this for a minute.
I mean, it's hard, right? Because as
Yeah,
a race, as we're like, I don't know, like people like to like
yeah.
to 5G. People like to have fun. You've locked people down literally for a year now. It's almost
Yes, yes.
it's
We're going
very
stir crazy.
except if you live in few cities in the United States of America, they weren't locked down.
Yeah, right,
Well,
right.
refused to be locked down, but that's
Yeah,
another question. Um,
that's true.
um, it's hard, right? So eventually, life is going to take place, and
Mm,
you just
mm.
hope that, like for me, it's always like try to take as good care of myself,
Yeah,
and
right.
hopefully, I don't reach my last bus stop before my time.
Yeah. That's yeah. I mean, that's the prayer, right? You
Yeah.
just keep going as long as you have life. You
Right.
know.
So it's just one of those. It's like not the easiest thing to deal with.
Yeah.
Um, People have apprehension, and I get it, but I think the government is having a better handle
Right.
on debunking a lot of the myths. You know,
Right.
it just takes time, and
Right.
you know, sometimes like I remember a patient saying, "It seems too extra when you show this black nurse got vaccinated first." Like people just want to like they don't want you to go so hard. They just want
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
feel comfortable. You don't want to seem like, oh, that black lady. She's one lady.
Yeah. It's so in your face.
Yeah, they don't want it to be so blatant. And it's
Yeah.
very hard to please everyone. Somebody
Right.
might
I mean, yeah. That's
many
the
black
thing.
people get in it. So you're never gonna please everyone. You just have to do what's right for society. And eventually, like I told everyone, I was like, a year. I was like, first of all, a year with no church, like technically,
Woo! Hey, yeah, with no church.
yeah. I was like, and they allowed them to have Super Bowl. Those pastors are down. They're like, hey, I can't pray for my people. No, 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 no. So it's just one of those things. Like, no church.
I mean, you're right. Like we're not used to that. And these guys are out there hugging each other, running around, after a Super Bowl win, and it's like, how do you reconcile that?
I mean, in defense, right? There's so many different. Those were all people vaccinated. They have to test negative for COVID.
Right,
Blah blah
right.
blah blah. But
That's
so
true.
then
That's
that
true.
comes with the other conspiracy theories, like how did they get to do it, and somebody who has a small business can't have it.
And then you go. There's so many questions that there are no answers.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this in terms of your experience now, not COVID aside, but as a physician, how did you come about the decision to become a doctor?
I
Because
knew I was going to be a doctor.
say that again.
I knew I was going to be a doctor.
Since when?
I told my parents at the age of 3 I was going to be a doctor.
What?
Yeah.
Who does that? Why would you? What did you see?
I mean, I had a brother at the time who was young, and
Yeah.
he was in and out of the hospital, and
Oh wow.
I knew I was gonna. I took a very long path, like it's like one of those Nigerian directions: go straight, turn left. When you see the building, you turn right. You go straight.
And then when you get there, make another right.
Yeah, make another right, and then when you see the building, not the second building, but the first building, you
Oh
make.
my goodness.
I took one of those pathways, But at the
Wow.
end of the day, I finally got to my destination, and God's time is always the best time.
Yes.
Some people don't know what they want to do. I mean,
Right.
I like, I was I worked as a CNA, I worked as an LPN, I worked as an RN,
Wow.
and then I finally, so it's just one of those, like, I took the longest route, but
Yeah.
very rewarding at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I definitely think my time or where I was placed right now is the perfect time for me
Right.
to be at this place.
Right.
So I don't regret it. I'm more mature now
Yes.
and helping my community in terms of like advisement, in terms of care. Like if I take care of my patients, I like joke around with them. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I'll walk away and I'll have lab results for them and I'm like, you miss me?
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I mean, you're saying it now, but I got that vibe from you. I really just got that vibe. Like you were able to like you're always trying to find a balance between the care, the physical care, medical care, and kind of like the heart care. Like just I don't know. I guess I extrapolated a lot of that from the way you were dealing with it. Like simple things like watching you trying to joke with something, or have I don't know what they call those things where you have a picture, but it's like a little shot before the picture, the thing.
Oh, the boomerangs and
Boomer.
yeah.
Thank you for telling me what that is. Yeah. So I would see, you're doing all these things, and I know that you're in the middle of fighting with this pandemic, and I just feel like that's a good way to go about it. I tend to do that myself with professionally as an attorney. Is like try to see moments where I can find lightness. Even the situation might be dire. So I really appreciate that. The final thing I wanted to is like whatever you need to tell anyone who might watch this in terms of how to take care of themselves. You said a bit of it already. Try to work on your immune system, and but in terms of the masks, social distancing. I mean, how important are these things? Do they have an impact? It's like, is there Is there something we could do extra? I guess I'm trying to get a word that we could like, and like you said, best thing, consult your doctor, on everything. But in terms of just a general understanding of safety right now, is there anything that you think we should keep in mind?
I still think people should wear masks. Sometimes you
Okay.
get around people intimately. Most of
Okay.
the time, it's like close family gatherings or close friend gatherings that people
Yeah.
do end up um, contracting COVID. Um,
Mm,
it's just hard though, like I
mm,
said, been around people for a long time. The social
yeah.
distancing part, like, it's still all theories, but I'm not in a position to say I don't do enough research. I'm
Right.
more a worker. I don't do the
Definitely.
research. So the people
Right.
that are doing the research, we kind of have to give them the benefit of the doubt until we can actually prove them wrong.
Right.
Social
Right.
distance, then social distance. If they're telling you to wear your mask,
Yeah. Yeah. Just
numbers
do that. Yeah.
the numbers have
Yes.
gone down,
Yeah.
but I feel like, people have to live their life, and
Mm,
you just have to live it smart. You just be
mm,
intelligent in your choices.
mm.
It doesn't mean that every Friday night that you should be going out and, doing all,
Yeah.
yeah, like, it's not going to be one of those things, but,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
just be mindful. There's so many free testing sites around the city where
Right.
you can get tested and know what's going on with you.
Yeah. That's
But
good. That's good.
okay, it's okay.
Oh, I mean, thank you so much, sis. I appreciate you. Like I said,
Sorry, I couldn't spend longer. It was just like a
oh
long.
no, no, I knew I was trying to just get you for a few minutes. I need you to rest so you can do what you do. But I mean, I'm gonna let you, get off the air before I was gonna let you off there before I say you're a hero to me at this point because I just during the
Hero.
middle, honestly, because during the middle of this thing, I mean, I wasn't even talking to you, but it's your page. Was like, I know when you said you stopped posting, that affected me, but I understood it. Yeah, but I got it. I got it. I knew exactly why because I was off social media like the year before the pandemic for some reasons too. So I got it. But I'm like, oh, now I got to listen to all these dudes who don't know what they're talking about. But I
Yeah.
mean, I'm saying this is my revenge. Like if I can get you on my live, then I'm good. So I want to say thank you for all you do, and your story is an inspiration for many of us. And I just I just want to say, hopefully we're gonna have more to do together. I see you're involved in a lot of community activity, and I want to connect with you on that and see what we could do for our people, for the community. So I really appreciate that. So thank you so much
Thank
for
you
giving me
for
that
having
time.
me. Very humbled
Thank
by.
you.
Thank you.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's my guest, Dr. Banks. You see her, just call her Dr. Banks. That's it. You're good to go. And I appreciate it. And we're going to talk about some other things after this, but I'm going to let her go so she can finally get a drink of water, and all that. All right.
Okay,
So
have a good one.
say bye to her. Good night. See you later.
Good night, everyone.
Oh man, ladies and gentlemen, that was amazing. That was amazing. And that's what I'm saying. I try to get people. Let's get people who know what they are doing. Let's talk to people who know what they are doing. Who are in the middle of it. And I love her spirit. I love the fact that she'll let you know what she knows. She'll let you know what she's still working on. She'll let you know, talk to your doctor about your situation. And this is what I'm talking about, bro. This is what I'm talking about. Stop listening to like people who don't know what's going on. Stop letting people like someone like me right now. That's why I love bringing on guests when I'm talking about some topics, because if they know more than I do, they're in the middle of it. Yeah, let's get it. So if your uncle on Facebook is telling you that it's all fake, it's all lies, then you ask your uncle, is he a doctor? Is he a scientist? Is he in the lab? You know, I was telling the 500,000, over 500,000 Americans are dead. And they were like, oh, the numbers are inflated. And anybody who tells you the numbers are fake or inflated, I want you to do me a favor and ask them this question that I always ask. If 500,000 or any number is inflated, you tell me what's the real number. And then let's discuss about your idea of the real number. Because I promise you, even if it's just 100,000 Americans dead, it's not acceptable. It's not good. It's a problem, right? So but the thing is they never have numbers. They just want to attack the number that you're working with. And all I'm saying is when Johns Hopkins, who's been keeping track of people with COVID from day one, and even the CDC, comes in, Department of Health, when those numbers tally, right? And the trend, makes sense with what's happening with the rest of the world. And unfortunately, in our case, when we've been told, or where we're learning that, you know, this is an airborne disease. If you are standing too close to somebody, this is what it does. Those of us who are not even scientists or doctors or people in the medical profession, we have found a way. We have found a way to learn about the virus. And there's no guarantee that any of us know enough to be safe from it, right? There are people who have died who are wearing masks. There are people who have died who were being distant as much as they could, because unfortunately, the virus only needs maybe 1 or 2 opportunities to attack you. That's the problem. So you can wear a mask for 100 days, and on the 101st day, you take your mask off and you hang out with somebody. That could be the moment that the virus gets you. So we're not saying any of these things are magic defenses, or they're magic or bulletproof vests. But not to do them, not to practice safety, that's just foolhardy. That's just being reckless. And the problem is, you're not just being reckless for yourself. This is about the people that you come in contact with. This is about the people you have around you. You know, as much as I'm enjoying these days of not having to talk too much about a certain former president, I just love not having to read his tweets. They say he's going to speak at the CPAC convention thingy, and I would hope that news channels would treat him like the pariah that he is. Like most major media channels should just, if they flash a little bit of what's going on at CPAC, they should just cut away from his speech. First of all, you know he's going to lie. Second of all, he was president when this thing came in, and he completely botched it. This man completely messed up. And the idea that anybody who's still trying to defend Donald Trump, trying to make it look like, he's not responsible for this, is like, I'm just glad we voted him out, so that whatever you say now is falling on deaf ears. I don't want to hear you. I don't want to hear you right now. All these Trump defenders, I don't want to hear you. And I'm happy to just watch you flail around and get upset. I love that, because you don't deserve to be listened to. Right now, you don't deserve to be heard, because you're still lying, right? You're still lying. And 500,000 people, over 500,000 people are dead while you're still lying. You're still lying, right? And unfortunately, we can't bring any of those people back. We can't bring them back. And I want to let you know that if we're not careful, there are other pandemics coming. There are other disasters loading. How are we going to approach it the next time something else happens in the world that requires all of us to be on the same page? Like Damilola was saying, like, we need to have a way to find true good information on everything that we do. Otherwise, we're not going to make it. Otherwise, we're not going to make it, because we have an issue here. If we don't have the same set of facts to work from, then we can't work together. We'll be working at cross purposes. It's just like right now, you have people going around talking about how, the election was stolen. And based on that lie, they're over there trying to suppress our votes in every single Republican legislature. That's their new move right now. That's their new move. Being unable to prove any voter fraud. They can't prove voter fraud. So what they're doing is they're changing all the laws. Do you see what they're doing, bro? If the way they're going, they want to remove polling booths from all the black areas. If they could, they would. This is the way they're going. Remember when they were taking the mailboxes off the street? Remember when they were taking the drop-off boxes in Texas? This is what I'm saying. The governor of Texas was very efficient at removing drop boxes from streets. They were really quick with that. But when it comes to like keeping the people of Texas, the warm and safe from the blizzard, safe from the snow and the ice, complete failure, right? When it comes to actually doing stuff to help the people, complete failure. Nothing good comes out of these guys. But they're really good at suppressing votes. They're really desperate to hold on to power. And you ask them, what are they doing with the power they're holding on to? Ted Cruz won the election. He beat Beto O'Rourke. He beat Beto. Now, there was a test of his service to Texas. He ran to Cancun. And you know what, Texas, man? I mean, do you, man? But to my people in Texas, man, I don't understand how someone like Greg Abbott could win re-election. Explain to me how someone like Greg Abbott could win re-election. Now, just explain it to me. Someone who failed these guys have failed so badly. The worst part is that they're not even honest enough to admit that they messed up. They were going on TV blaming windmills, when in fact 80% to 85% of the other sources of energy that they're so proud of, your oil, your natural gas, your coal, your nuclear, all of that was frozen. That's the main reason you had a problem. You've also been removed from the grid that every other state is connected to. I learned that there are 2 grids majorly that states could be connected to. Texas took itself off of those grids so they could be free from federal regulation. Do you understand what they did? So they can have their buddies who run the energy companies, so those guys can roam free. These guys took Texas off of the grid. Do you understand that El Paso, Texas, where Beto is, did not lose power? Do you get that? Do you get that? Because they were connected to the regular grid. Because in El Paso, they worked on a different grid. So it's a clear example. It's the same thing we're talking about with COVID. Do you know that, Sweden, Norway, Germany, they are also dealing with coronavirus. They've also lost people to coronavirus. But they do not have 500,000 people dead. They do not have the same equivalent percentage of people dead in their country. Because I know the next thing is, oh, well, there are more Americans, so more Americans will die. That's not what's going on. Per capita, percentage-wise, America is on top. We are worse than some nations that would be considered third world countries in how we dealt with this virus. It's amazing. Why? Ignorance. A nation that is built on wisdom and knowledge. This is America, where you just landed a craft on Mars, bro. Y'all see that? They landed a rover on a planet that no one has ever been to. This is mind blowing. America they remote control a robot from Earth to another planet. Are you listening to me? And they landed that robot with precision in a square that they had mapped out. That is amazing. It is in the same country that some morons have been going out here and lying about everything else. In the same country. We're not really gonna sit there and pretend like we don't understand, right? 500,000 Americans dead is not acceptable. It is not acceptable. And we should never forget. We should never forget. I want to say thank you once again to my guest, Dr. Banks. She was phenomenal. Her journey through when COVID started and up till now is something that I really appreciate. I was following her, her posts, and it gave me strength to know that even the people who are seeing this death face to face were still, soldiering on, pushing forward, and that's what I appreciated about, the work she's doing. And to all my people out there, all my doctors, all my nurses, my EMTs, frontline workers, my grocery staff, my grocery store staff, you guys that have been doing the work, you guys have been doing the work, all this. Some of us have been home on the couch, some of us working from home. Some of you have been going out, like my lovely wife going out. Your job has required you to leave the house every day. You're going into this pandemic. You're just trusting God and doing your best, and you're coming home. I say thank you right now. I appreciate you. To all the families who have lost all these loved ones, my heart is with you, man, right now. In this moment, I'm thinking about you guys and just praying strength for you. I'm praying courage for you. I'm praying that for all your tears, that there'll be joy. That like Joe Biden said, President Biden said, I'm praying that you'll come to a time when your memories of your loved ones will not just evoke tears, but will begin to evoke joy for the time you spent with them, And he was very powerful. And it makes a difference when you have a president who has empathy. That's another important thing. To have a president who has empathy is major. Yeah, basically, we need to change the requirements for our politicians. And that's what I'm talking about. We need politicians who can at least show some sign that they care about people. You got to care about people. I'm not expecting a politician to be a saint. I'm not expecting you to be pure and holy and perfect. I just want to know that you care about people, y'all. I know that's not too much to ask. That's not too much to ask, that you care about people. You know, if you're unable to cry for people, if you're unable to feel pain for people, you have no business leading people. And that's what I kept saying about Lysol, man. Just incapable of empathy, just unable to care about anybody, unable to forgive. That's rubbish. Such a man should never be allowed into power in the first place. They're saying he wants to run again. I keep praying that there's enough of us still around to make sure he never gets back to that place. Whether or not they're able to arrest him or whatever, there should be enough of us making sure that he never gets back to that place. It is unconscionable that such a man was ever allowed near the seat of power. No empathy. He was making fun of disabled people. He was making fun of the Gold Star families. There's no one he can't insult. There's no one he can't abuse. There's no one he can't denigrate. And as such a man became president. You see the difference now. You see the difference now. You have a president who, forget about the vaccines, just acknowledging the loss. Like somebody brought out a really important point. Like what Joe Biden has been doing with the memorials and the moments of silence is giving people the room to express. Give people the room to just really grieve, mourn. Because unfortunately, one of the really horrible aspects of this COVID situation is the inability of people to even go through their grieving and their mourning rituals properly. Ordinarily, if somebody passes away that you love, the funeral process is a process where you can, give yourself the opportunity to cry and to think about them and to really grieve over them and just get that part of your connection set. With this COVID thing, many people were not even able to bury their loved ones because they had to be kept away. Many people were not able to see their loved ones in their last moments. These are some of the things that used to help both the person passing away and the person that's watching them leave. You used to be able to at least hold hands with a loved one, and as they go away, you can speak your last words of love. You couldn't do that with COVID. Think about that. So these losses are not just losses, they're just tragedies. And with what Joe Biden was doing, if you're still here, drop me a line, let me know you're here. BC's in the building, I don't know how many of you saw, the memorials that Joe Biden was putting together. I don't know what you feel about it, but I feel like it's necessary. It's necessary because give the people the room to think about their loved ones, to know that the nation cares, to show that the country cares, that they're not alone in their grief. Every time I think about how horrible that other president was, it's just mind blowing. How do you stand there every day and you don't even think to have a moment of silence for the dead Americans? Whether or not you think, people will hold you responsible for their deaths is a different conversation from acknowledging their deaths. You had a whole administration pretending that people were not even dying, trying to hide numbers. And like I said, that's why, some of my boys, my people disagree with me. Yeah, Lulu's in the building. Lulu, my brother, what's going on, young man? Good to see you. Some people disagree with me, but that's why, I wasn't smiling with Governor Cuomo on the issue of the nursing home and the numbers, death numbers. I'm not here for the excuses of why you did it. I just feel like you have to know that this is a moment where transparency, it's something you have to give without compromise. Because when you don't do that, you fuel these guys that make stuff up. You allow these guys to make stuff up when you don't give them information, when there's a vacuum of information. And that's why I'm upset with Cuomo. It's not about the political party and whatever. It's about if I'm somebody who I worry about that for myself. I'm not always honest, and I need to be. But we tell ourselves it's a little lie. But I've started to work on myself that even the little lies, I don't want to tell them. And one of the ways I look at that is, and I compare like this little lie you want to tell, what is it supposed to achieve? What are you trying to hide? What are you trying to prevent? What are you trying to avoid? What pain are you trying to push away that's going to make you be dishonest in this moment? And I quickly tell myself the pain that I'm trying to avoid is not worth it, because the pain I might cause later on will dwarf this pain. So I'm going to just blurt it out. I'm going to say the truth, let the chips fall right away, get my hit. But I'll be good, because I know that's it. And that's what's happening with Cuomo. Don't be hiding stuff. Whether or not you meant well, whether or not you did well, all of that starts getting unraveled if it turns out you were hiding stuff. It's math. It's math. One of the things that affected Trump was that we found out when he was talking to Bob Woodward on the tape, he was telling Bob Woodward, this disease is a killer. He was admitting to Bob Woodward everything he was denying on the stage. We couldn't believe it. So you know that this thing is killing your people. You know that, it's horrible, but you're on TV saying it's going to go away by itself like a miracle. It was that dishonesty that I believe that turned another chunk of people against him. So we just need to be honest, man. We just need to be honest, because we need to be able to face the next one coming. And we can't face it if we're still like this, if we're still into lies and deception. And that's why I brought my guest today. Let's talk to our doctors. Let's talk to our scientists. Let's talk to the guys who do this for a living. Don't be like Donald Trump, who goes on TV and says doctors are lying about corona deaths because they're getting paid more. Like this moron in the White House at the time. What does he know about being a doctor? You heard my guest, Dr. Banks. You heard her talking about it. Got to a point where there were so many, you have people, beds next to each other, and you find out, this person dies, and not long after this one dies. I mean, just see so many people die at once, feeling helpless with all your efforts to try to keep them alive. You're failing in that regard. They're dying. She was talking about how all the medical professionals needed therapy, and they were all seeing therapists. In the meantime, while they were going through that, some moron in the White House is telling his followers that, the doctors just like to make up the death numbers because they're going to get paid more. Or they're just exaggerating. The thunder is supposed to fire that guy. The thunder. He failed us, and he had the nerve to be accusing doctors of faking death numbers. Is it not the same? If not for the fact that let me my Nigerian is coming out. If not for the fact that you people are mad, yeah, Trump followers, you are not all right. If not for the fact that you have lost all ability to do reasoning, yeah, and sense. Did the moron in chief not tell you that after the election you will not hear about corona anymore? Did he or did he not say that at the rally? No, answer me that. Because y'all know he did. And y'all clapped for him at his rally. He said, watch, after November, you won't hear about corona anymore. Idiot. Moron. After the election, we heard even more about corona. It took away even more people. All right? This is February. Our death toll is over 500,000. Did we stop talking about corona because Trump lost? We couldn't. We can't, because it's still killing people, you morons. What does that mean? It means he lied. It means he's an idiot. It means he's been lying. I don't hear you guys no more though, right? The numbers are fake. Oh, it's all being done to embarrass Trump. If Trump loses, they won't talk about it anymore. Guess what? We just went over 500,000 people dead from corona. You morons. I'm upset. I'm upset that you keep lying and you keep following that liar. Did he not tell you that corona will be over once the election is over? And you still want to follow him? I mean, I just hope, I keep praying that there's enough of us on the side of reason and truth to continue defeating you guys. That's all I can hope. That's all I can hope, that there's enough of us that are just reasonable enough to understand that a man like Trump is a pariah. I'm so glad he lost that election. I'm so glad, because I was hoping that we could prove the point that Donald Trump, was an aberration. He was a glitch in the system. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that the trimmings or the things that held him up, they're not glitches. They're part of the system. I get that. the racism, the white supremacy, the hatred, the xenophobia, all the stuff he built up, right? They were here already. I mean, they live in this country. They're part of the makeup of this country. I get that. But him as a politician, as a president, is an anomaly. Him. Those other things gravitated towards him because they've never seen anything like that before. No one's ever seen a president this horrible before. He's uniquely horrible in the history of America, in the history of the world. I keep saying it. Find me another world leader who says anything as dumb as Donald Trump. When Donald Trump said, maybe we can do something like that with the body, to inject something like that and get that into the body, you know, that's the dumb. BC, they found representation in him. He embodied everything they've ever held dear. It was their racist messiah, right? It was their white supremacist dream. They never imagined a man like that could ever come in, and they all rallied around him. Unfortunately, they were joined by those who were tax cuts. They were joined by those who think abortion and gay marriage is the only reason to live. You're either against it or for it, and that's all God cares about. And God has no other things on his priority list than your political agenda. Now they were joined to those. That's why the evangelical community needs to work hard to clean its image if it can, because you are now in bed with the racists and the white supremacists. You probably were the whole time, but now the whole world can see. We can't tell the difference between an evangelical. Well, let me dial that back. Not every evangelical supported this nonsense called Trump. All right, so I am somebody who takes time not to overgeneralize. Not every evangelical was behind Donald Trump, so I'm going to take that back. But these evangelical groups and leaders that joined themselves together to Trump and all his mess, I don't know how you get out of this, because you will be known from this time going forward as friends of white supremacists, if not ones yourself. Because those are the people you joined forces with to support Donald Trump. You joined forces with racists. You joined forces with the likes of the Proud Boys. Those are your people now. Evangelicals, those are your people now. You will not be known for your faith anymore if you continue. You are not. Your faith is no longer your most glaring feature as evangelicals. Your political affiliation has become the point for you guys. That's the unfortunate result of doing what you did. You merged yourself with this unscrupulous moron of a man. And I don't know how you get out of it. And many of you are still part of that crew. They have QAnon survivors on YouTube everywhere now talking about how they escaped the cult. These are your people now, cults. You guys have now joined yourself to a cult. And it's sad. It's very sad. And I hope there's enough of people, on the other side to continue to make you guys irrelevant unless you change. Not all Christians are like you guys. Not all believers agree with you that a man without compassion should be the standard bearer for your political beliefs. Look at what Biden has done in a couple of days. He's got everyone to settle down and remember the people we've lost. People have died while Biden has been president. Do you understand that? It's not about Biden or Trump. Death is death. Biden has been president now for some weeks. People have died in that time. It's under his watch. He now needs to start working to show the world that he's working hard to stop the death. That's all we asked of Donald Trump. That's all we asked of that idiot. We knew he didn't have the power to cure COVID. We understand that. But to be actively working against the efforts of others who wanted to curb it, I mean, that makes it almost impossible to let go of the criticism. It was like Trump was working for the disease. It was like an employee of COVID. And that's unforgivable. That's unforgivable. So 500,000, over 500,000 lost. We continue to pray for the families of the departed. And we pray that God will give us victory over this disease so we don't have to mark another milestone of horror We don't want any more milestones of tragedy. We don't want any more milestones of death. We just want to be done with this. And, you know, as I was asking Dr. Banks, you know, the vaccine is what we have now that we can take a look at and see how we can get rid of this. All right. So people are taking the vaccine. When it's my turn, I plan to take it because I took mad vaccines in Nigeria, and I don't know why I wouldn't take this. Plus, I want to go outside. I gotta go outside soon, man. And one day I dream of a day where we may never have to wear masks again. But I don't know when that's gonna be. But I think we start by getting these vaccines and getting more and more of us at least immune to it, you know. And oh, by the way, there are a lot of people trying to confuse the herd immunity we talk about with vaccination with the horrible, you know, dystopian horror movie herd immunity that Trump and his boys are talking about. No, let me tell you the difference. Trump and his boys were talking about herd immunity you get just by getting the disease. That's what they were talking about. They're like, let everybody get COVID. Some of us are going to die. Whoever doesn't die gets to live, and that's it. That was their whole plan. They put that in a policy statement. Like, you know, are we, you know, do we really care? They want everybody to get it. Now, this herd immunity is like when the herd is immune because the herd is vaccinated. That's what this herd immunity is. And it's a better form of it because we can all get the vaccination, right? So we have a chance of more of us, if not all of us, surviving. That's the kind of herd immunity that makes sense to me, right? But they were talking about their herd immunity where you don't do nothing and you just let everybody catch it, and then before they're like, oh, he dead, oh, he couldn't handle it. That's the way they wanted to live, survival of the fittest. Did you hear that Texas mayor? Do you see the mindset of some of these people? This is political in a way. The Texas mayor said that, oh, the city doesn't owe you anything. When something like this happens, it's up to you to find water for your family. It's up to you to find food. It's up to you to find warmth. He was saying that to people who've been paying their taxes. That's the most annoying thing about it to me. You're telling people who've been paying taxes, who pay the salaries of the mayor, who paid the salaries, who's paying the salary of the governor, who's paying the salary of all the boards, who've been paying bills to the utility companies. You're going to tell them that that those companies and that government owes them nothing in the middle of a storm that's killing people, that's causing them to freeze in their homes, where their pipes are getting the pipes are getting exploded. You have the nerve as a mayor to tell people survival of the fittest. You see, this is why people like that should not ever be near office. Now he resigned, this idiot. He resigned, but he should never have been mayor. Stop electing people that have no compassion. Stop electing people that have no empathy. Eventually, they will kill you. That might be the only way I can explain this to you. Stop it. Whenever you're voting, find a way to figure out if this person cares enough. I'm ending on one of the things that this is what I say when people, if you're gonna date somebody, you're gonna marry somebody, you're thinking about marrying somebody, you guys are going out. This applies both ways, male, female, whatever part of the relationship. I say this: take your potential spouse, your would-be spouse. Make sure you guys go on a date where you watch what I would call a movie of tears, right? A tearjerker of a movie, an emotional movie where something that, you know, you're gonna cry from the beginning to the end. You got to take that person there, something that evokes empathy, something that awakens sympathy in the person. Make sure your partner sits with you and you watch that movie, right? And then watch the reaction as you have tears in your eyes on this movie where but he loved her. In that moment, if you look over and your boy is just chomping popcorn, talking about, I don't know why she's crying like that, y'all. Like it's not the only one that's gonna die. Like, and people die all the time. If that's your partner, bro, that's not your partner. No, you see, I promise you, what in your own case, they must have been. Maybe I know you. BC, I know you. Let me give you an example. BC trying to prove my theory wrong. BC, let me give you an example. Do you know how much help you've been giving me on my small YouTube live show? We have not discussed money. I have not paid you. You just saw something and you've been helping me. You called me, BC, to say, bro, I love your show. If you do this, you can get a better result. You care, bro. Whether or not you know that you care. I'm telling you that inside, and I'm telling you, your missus, your madam knew that. Guy, nobody's trying to have a family with you if they know that you are evil. Because it's a lot of stress for them. So that's my own experiment. Go and watch a movie that has emotions. And let me tell you, you don't have to cry. This person doesn't have to cry. You can tell when someone is emoting without crying, I mean, there are times when I'm watching a movie with a family and I'm the man of the house. Whether or not I'm short does not matter. I'm the man of the house. Therefore, I want to model strong behavior for my children. So we are watching something and it's getting very emotional. It's getting very intense. And like this, I don't know. I would try not to cry, but everybody will know that I'm struggling not to cry because it will be like, that's when I'll be moving for no reason. Like, did you, okay, what time? When is this movie? You will move, you'll be uncomfortable. That's all I'm saying. Somebody who is uncomfortable with suffering of others, you make sure that you check before you vote for anyone. Before you vote for anyone, find something in their story, in their resume, that shows you that see, I love it's true. There must be some sample that this person can be touched with the pain of others. Only then can leadership make sense. And for all my Christians, I'm sure you guys all agree anyway, because one of the if not the most essential feature of Christ's personality, of Jesus as a personality, the most essential feature is his love. Part of that is his compassion. Bible said, and he saw that the people had been with him 3 days. He was preaching, and he asked the disciples, these people have been with me 3 days and they have not eaten anything. Is there food for them? Are you kidding me? That's the compassion of Christ that makes him ask, have these people eaten? Because don't give us, that's the work of the ministry that you came to. He was doing the Father's business. So I understand Jesus was in tunnel vision, like just giving the word. But he paused at a certain point when he just like, oh, they haven't eaten. That's compassion. That's empathy. You need to have leaders who have that. If your leader doesn't have that, dude, get ready to die. That's what happens. They leave you in the cold and they fly to Cancun. They fly to Cancun, bro. Your leaders will be flying to Cancun because you keep electing people. I mean, I don't know how Ted Cruz did this. Ted Cruz is one person who has found a way to get a reputation for being a weasel. Like he's untrustworthy. Nobody likes him. I've never heard that about anyone. People talk about Bernie Sanders and they say he's a troublemaker. A lot of people look at Bernie Sanders, they say his Senate colleagues think about him as a firecracker. He's always starting trouble. But many of them like him. They consider him honest. This is my problem. Ted Cruz is known for being a weasel. And he has proven himself to be a weasel so many times over this last year. And this last thing he did, and then he came back and started taking pictures for him cutting barbecue meat. You can't pretend for us. You have no empathy. You have no love. You have no compassion. And if you have compassion, you will remember that every life that dies, everyone that passed away during this pandemic is worth remembering. And I'm gonna be leaving you guys, but I couldn't get to Nigeria today. I really want to talk about Nigeria because there are some statements that I've heard in the last couple of days that just blow my mind. It's a bandits are not criminals. And the other statement I heard was that the people who died at the hands of kidnappers were accidental deaths. Hey. I have no bandwidth for Nigeria today. I'll find some guests if I can to come and explain Nigeria to me. Because like I told you, I will not pretend to understand Nigeria. Nigeria is a conundrum wrapped in confusion, in a blanket of distortion. I don't know where you pick the issue of Nigeria from. All I know is I'm concerned. When you start saying bandits are not criminals, we have entered a new phase, ladies and gentlemen. When they start telling you that the people that die at the hand of kidnappers are just accidental discharge. Ladies and gentlemen, we are no longer discussing a nation. We are discussing an anomaly among nations. It's going to take the grace of God. It's your boy JFK, man. We'll talk about it a little bit later. Once again, the heart goes out to all the families who's lost loved ones. For everybody else, let's stay safe. Let's keep trying to social distance. Quick shout out to Pastor David Dada, Syracuse, and my sister Sumbo Dada. You guys hosted me last weekend. Kept me socially distant. At the same time, organized my chops. Pounded yam, egusi. I mean, you guys are too much. So I want to say thank you, LCWC, the whole house, the kids. You guys received me and took care of me and really flowed with me. I appreciate it. Shout out to everybody out there. Shout out to Chairman, Shea Brown over there, man. Netflix special coming up March the 10th. Nigeria, we need to make noise. We need to make noise. These dudes are breaking ceilings and breaking barriers, and we know the rest of us just fall through. And we come on in. Like my guest today, Dr. Banks, Dr. Adebayo. I mean, she's an inspiration, like many of our people who are doing big things right now. We appreciate them so much because they're opening doors and they're creating and they're helping to let the world know that, Nigerians and people of Nigerian descent, we have a lot of good to give in this world. And we have a lot of gifts, a lot of talents, and the world needs to see more of that. We're dynamic, we're more than whatever you heard. And I love that these people are breaking down doors and doing big things. So shout out to Sherry Brown, man. March 10th, we're going to be watching Netflix inside Native. I think I'll take a picture of me wearing my Native watching Netflix just to represent and to salute and to appreciate the hard work that takes you to that level. That brother has been working hard for a long time, and he deserves all the success. And we're proud of him. And hopefully we'll do just more. It's your boy JFK, man. Be safe. God bless you. We'll catch you guys on the stage. Drop me a line. Let me know you enjoyed this. Please share the video. Send it out to somebody. Dr. Banks gave us some good word today. Let's send the word out. And next time we're gonna come through. We're gonna do some other things. Now that Lysol is no longer president, I think we have room now to do some other things. I can sleep better. I don't have to wake up and find out what he tweeted. They're still doing some rubbish with the voter suppression. I'm going to do a show on that. But right now, we're just going to enjoy the fact that Lysol is not president. All right? And we're going to take it from there. It's your boy, JFK. Y'all be easy, all right?